Hello everyone and Dr. Snipes. So as you know, I'm kind of struggling and battling with my topic. So I'm kind of like back and forth. And also, don't judge me. I don't have a Mac or an updated computer. That's why I gotta record it like this. But I've been struggling with my topic. I'm gonna do something in fraternity sorority life. Yay me. But so I've been kind of thinking about focusing on development of cultural competencies within fraternity sorority life. So I'm gonna go to my concept map. So basically, how I came up with this topic is doing research on fraternity sorority life and how we advise culturally based groups, organizations, and just how it's not a lot of support with advising them, and it's not a lot of development to pieces. If I'm a professional coming in who don't identify with their group, how do I advise them? So like putting cultural competencies in place and also measuring to see what research is out there and what data is out there on advising culturally based organizations in fraternity and sorority life. So my area is fraternity and sorority life, of course, and where I want to tap into advising. So how does advising look like? So how are you advising these students? What measures are you using? Because there's no structure a lot of times, not necessarily with culturally based groups, versus when you look at NPC and NIC, they have a lot of rules, a lot of policies in place. But NPAC and multicultural MGC groups don't have a lot of structure and things in place as a whole wide community. So like how you advising them. And then with the cultural competencies, also like professional development, how is that being included in professional development for fraternity sorority like professionals? Like that should be a required development for them. And then national headquarters, how is fraternity sorority like partnering with national headquarters with the cultural competencies and as far as making sure they understand how to work with these students. Let's look into demographics as far as my target population. Of course, multicultural fraternity and sorority members. So the MGC, the Latinx population. How do these students feel? How are we helping support these students at predominantly white institutions? I should have said that at the beginning. It'll be in predominantly white institutions. Of course, we have National Family and Council, which, as we talk about NPAC, their governance is completely different from MGC groups. A lot of times people think they are the same, but it's different needs when it comes to the focus on the Black community, helping them. And any other culturally based group or organization that I did not mention in fraternity sorority life, because it's expanding so wide. It's so many groups that are forming that are not under NPAC and MGC groups. And then we're going to tap into theory. So the one theory that I thought about is racial identity development theory. That ties into, I feel like, all of these demographics and these groups. So tapping into what does that look like? How does the theory even of nigrescence, as these students go through different transitions with being in a fraternity and a sorority, like from entering college from orientation to actually being in a fraternity and sorority, the development for these culturally based groups is completely different than working with NIC and NPC. So that's what I want to tap into, and how it needs to be more cultural competencies and development for culturally based organizations in fraternity and sorority life. So that's my topic. I'm still trying to like ruffle some feathers and figure some things out, but for the most part, this is my org, this is my concept map. So I'm definitely interested for feedback and more structure on it, but I'm excited to dive into this topic. I did a little bit of research on it in history, as far as cultural competencies and just how different professionals don't have that working with culturally based groups. So I'm interested to see what the research says about it. Thanks.